very soon in the afternoon.
Hi there, can you hear me? Okay. Bit higher, okay. All right, maybe that's better. Better? Okay, my name's Ava Cunningham. I'm an undergraduate. Oh. Well, okay, sorry. I'm an undergraduate here at UB. I'm in my fourth year studying biomedical informatics, and I've spent the past year working with Dr. Deal to convert the international classification of oral facial pain to an ontology. Our goal here was just to take this terminology and convert it into an ontology that enables integration among other ontologies, such as the oral health and disease ontology and the pain ontology. The International Classification of Oral Facial Pain is a hierarchical structure created that lists kind of a wide range of different types of oral facial pain, including things like dental pain to different types of migraines that might occur because of grinding teeth or something. Has about 200 different terms, but it lacks the relationships between terms, which we were able to create by creating an ontology. It has about 200 terms, and it's modeled after the International Classification of Headache Disorders. So to begin this process, I worked off of the ICOP page, and I created a spreadsheet that broke down each term into its term name, term definition, parent term, contributing factors, and anatomical location. I then relied on the definitions from ICOP, but I revised them slightly to make them more ontologically correct, and I used Protégé to add the ICOP terms to the OHD, while also relying on the OHD and pain ontology to understand, to create some more high-level terms and reference them. By adding ICOP into the OHD, we were able to enhance it a bit, and we were able to add 300 new terms, including all of the ICOP terms and their related contributing factors. So when making the contributing factors, we fell into kind of two different classes. We had contributing factors that were pretty specific to ICOP, such as dental hypersensitivity due to a dental procedure. But then there were some more contributing factors that were pretty original to OHD, a little bit more simple, which were things like tooth fracture. Working into Protégé, we added each term. We used its label, its definition that I created off of the spreadsheet. It's correlating ICOP term number, a source ID, which is just the ICOP PubMed, and a subclass axiom. We also, one of the final steps we took within Protégé was creating an ICOP subset, but we limited this to only terms that had an ICOP term number, so none of the contributing factors, and this had about 193 terms. Just walking through a bit of an example that I made here, we have gingival pain due to bacterial infection. This is a term that came directly from ICOP, and this we put under process. We put as a process, and it is a child term of gingival pain due to infection. And we causally related this back to gingivitis due to bacterial infection because it's not necessarily the bacterial infection that's causing the gingival pain, it's the gingivitis that's causing the inflammation that's causing the pain within the gingival tissue. So then we were able to make gingivitis due to bacterial infection a type of material entity. And this is one of the contributing factors that we went through and defined ourselves. So just simply, it's kind of, the definition was just gingivitis due to a bacterial infection. And then this, we created a subclass as having part of some bacterial infection. And this is kind of our final step or tier in this term. And another material entity, we stopped here at bacterial infection. And to create those three steps up to gingival pain due to bacterial infection. This is just a bit of a look at, kind of a graphical look at this term, and you can see it's down at the bottom, gingival pain due to bacterial infection, and you can see how it works up into a material entity, which is breaking down the infectious disorder and the bacterial infection, and then the process, which is coming from the hierarchy of ICOP down from symptom and pain. Creating the new contributing factors was probably the biggest part of this project, and overall we created 106 new terms, most of which were disorders, but we did have a few processes, and that included things that had to do with pain, so types of idiopathic, neuropathic, chronic, and acute pain. And those are the types of terms that we reference the pain ontology a lot for to help define them. And we'll look at the statistics and breakdown of what the ICOP was. The left-hand side just shows the different types of pain that ICOP presents. And on the right-hand side, we have a look at the outside ontologies we used. And obviously, the pain ontology discussed just by Finn is still in the works, but we did use it to help define those different types of processes. And the basic formal ontology was just those highest terms. A few challenges we ran into was ICOP did reference sensory hypersensitivity and allergy hypersensitivity kind of simply as just hypersensitivity. So we needed to take some time to break down what sensory hypersensitivity was, and that just has to do when you put an ice cube on your teeth or something, versus allergy hypersensitivity. And we created sensory hypersensitivity as a specific term from ICOP, and hypersensitivity was already within the Go ontology. Another small challenge we occurred is lacking a bit of domain knowledge. So when it came to creating those contributing factors that came from ICOP, we might not have held the most amount of knowledge about the gingival tissue or periodontal abscesses, for instance. And finally, another big part of this process was creating proper axioms and relations between the terms. Obviously, I'm sure everyone works with Protégé. If you don't have the proper axiom between two terms, the reasoner is going to run into an error. This was my first time using Protégé, so I found this probably the most difficult in understanding where a term is located within the ontology and how it can be related to another term. So as a result, we have added all of the ICOP terms to the OHD and a few terms here and there to the pain ontology. And this is just another graphical look at some terms. And there's about 4 different OHD ICOP terms: pulpal pain due to hypersensitivity, pulpal pain due to pulpitis, temporal mandibular joint pain, and periodontal pain. And you can see how they all work together and work within the OHD. For some future work, we've actually just begun the beginning parts of writing a paper to explain our process for this. And we have also been collecting some published papers that describe data sets that we can correlate our work with and feed into a large language model. We have about 38 data sets right now, and we will also annotate just 1 or 2 of those with the ontology for further analysis. As a conclusion, we have just successfully converted ICOP terminology to an ontological form and allowed us to logically relate classes in the OHD and other ontologies. Just like to acknowledge Bill Duncan and Finn Wilson. And also in the beginning, we also got a lot of help from Ram Chawla. And these are some references. Thank you.